It's now time for your favorite in-depth basketball show with the myths, the legends, Nardog, and Raindrops Goulet!
You're listening to Full Court Press. I'm Justin Raindrops Goulet, joined as always by the Nard Dog, David Bernardi. How's it going, good sir?
It's going good, fellow sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. All right, of course, plenty to talk about. The San Antonio Spurs are NBA champions once again. Cue the music. What do you think about the Spurs winning the title? I'm very happy about it. What about you?
This is their 5th championship in 16 years. Amazing, right?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And Tim Duncan, part of all those championships.
Yeah, Tim Duncan winning that championship again. That's crazy.
Oh, man, I'm just psyched for the entire Spurs roster. A lot of guys that I really like on this team. Matt Bonner, of course, the Red Rocket, former Toronto Raptor. He's an NBA champion now. Boris Diaw.
A couple former Raptors, actually. Austin Day. Yeah.
Austin Day's an NBA champion. Yeah, that's correct.
And my fellow Italian, Marco Bellinelli.
How do you feel about that? Because Marco Bellinelli, fun fact of this episode of Full Court Press, we got a couple of these coming up, actually. Marco Bellinelli is the first ever Italian to win an NBA championship.
Oh, that is incredible. Being Italian myself, I'm proud of the guy, you know?
I'm just surprised that he's the first Italian. You'd think that there would at least be one or two Italians who have won an NBA championship. I guess not.
Maybe there has been other Italians. They have like the Italian last name, but they're not actually
They're not natives of Italy like Marco
yeah.
Bellinelli, who was actually born in Italy.
Yeah, he's a free agent this offseason. Maybe the Raptors should take a flyer on him, you know?
Get Bellinelli back to Toronto. Let's get that trending. Hashtag Bellinelli back to TO.
Do it up. They do need a shooter.
I would gladly welcome Marco Bellinelli back with the Toronto Raptors. Another fun fact, we're talking about the first ever Italian, the first ever Brazilian to win an NBA championship.
Thiago Splitter?
Thiago Splitter indeed, sir.
I love that name.
Thiago Splitter's a cool name.
I always have. Since he got drafted, that is one of my favorite NBA names.
Thiago Splitter would be a great fit in the WWE. We're going to get into some wrestling talk later on, talk about some NBA superstars that would actually fit well in the WWE world, the WWE universe, if they would make good wrestlers, good characters. And speaking of wrestling, we will get to this later, but the Nard Dog got into a little scuffle on Twitter with a WWE Hall of Famer and one of the most popular factions in the world today.
Yeah, I got a tweet from one of my all-time favorite wrestlers.
Don't say it yet. Let's save this for later. This is a big one. You guys are going to be excited about this. Now let's go back to the basketball. San Antonio Spurs. What did you think about this final series? The Spurs, in my opinion, and it's kind of obvious, they dominated the series. They defeated the Heat 4-1.
Yeah, I heard it was the first time in NBA history that in the NBA Finals that they blew out their opponent every game, like 15 points.
Oh, yeah?
15 points, yeah.
Oh, man, absolutely brutal. On the part of the Heat, just a very weak showing from Miami.
Yeah, and a team that everyone expected to do so well this season, obviously, and they get blown out. What is that about?
I don't know. Like, honestly, I thought the Heat had a very strong chance of three-peating. I thought we were going to see a three-peat with this Miami Heat roster because their team is so strong, they're so organized, they're such a good unit, but they just fell apart, and the Spurs were clearly the stronger team. The Spurs honestly played...
The Spurs were the stronger team the whole season.
The Spurs played some of the best basketball, not just in the finals or in the playoffs, but in the entire season I've ever seen of any basketball team.
The Spurs win 62 games this season, and it seems like they were coasting throughout the season, you know?
They're coasting. They make it look easy, but they play fundamental basketball, which is what I love. I used to dislike this because I wanted to see exciting, fast-paced basketball, but as I've grown older and my appreciation for the game and my understanding for the game has grown, I just have such a strong love of the Spurs basketball system because it's so basic, but it gets the job done and it wins them championships.
Throughout the season, they played their starters 27 minutes per game.
Incredible, because you look how strong their bench is.
Oh, Patty Mills, that guy, he is one amazing talent.
Patty Mills came out of nowhere. Well, specifically Australia, but
he's a free agent this offseason. Like, what's going to happen with him this offseason?
There's going to be a lot of teams vying to pick up Patty Mills.
Does
since he's a free agent.
Does he stay with the Spurs, be their backup and the next starting point guard for the Spurs once Parker retires, or does he go off and become a starter?
If I were Patty Mills, I would probably stay with the Spurs because you're just going to grow as a player, gain that great experience. You're going to get the minutes, and you're playing, even if you're not a starter, you're playing behind a future Hall of Famer in Tony Parker. Parker, I don't know how many years he's got left on him, probably quite a bit because I think he's only 32 or so. He's still pretty young.
Really?
Yeah, but Tony Parker isn't that old. He's not up there with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili even. But I think Patty Mills, if he were to stay in San Antonio, it wouldn't be a bad move for him career-wise.
Now let's switch it up to the MVP.
Mr. Kawhi Leonard. I am so happy for Kawhi. I'm a huge fan of his.
Who would have thought a guy who was traded for George Hill, everyone.
Had you told me that he would have been Finals MVP at the beginning of the season, I don't know if I would have believed you. But watching him play throughout the entire playoffs,
especially the last 3 games,
he was absolutely incredible during the NBA Finals. Let's just bring up some of his stats. Kawhi Leonard finished with 17.8 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, 1.6 steals, and he shot 61.2% from the field. 61.2. That's incredible.
Yeah, and in the finals, he scored 20 points 3 straight times. That's the first time he's ever done that in his career.
He's only 22 years old. He's the 3rd youngest MVP behind his teammate Tim Duncan and, of course, Hall of Famer and one of the greatest to ever play, Magic Johnson. It's huge. It's absolutely amazing.
And this is a guy that former Raptors GM Brian Colangelo was thinking of drafting with the 5th overall pick.
Well, that's where I first heard Kawhi's name because there was the...
Yeah, same. He had a great workout with the Raptors.
He did, and I was really high on us getting Kawhi Leonard. You know, I was like, this kid looks like a great player. They compared him to a younger Sean Marion. Fortunately, we didn't pick him up, but things kind of worked out. Nonetheless.
We got Jonas.
We got Jonas Valanciunas, so the story writes itself right there.
Future best center in the Eastern Conference.
I was thinking about this. In 5-6 years' time, the NBA, the top guys, Kawhi Leonard's going to be one of the superstars of the NBA. And you're talking about how he's kind of a shy guy and he's not really ready for all this attention. But Kawhi, you're the MVP of the NBA Finals. The spotlight is going to be on you for the next while and, for your entire career, really, from this point on.
Yeah, I was saying at the end of the NBA Finals, NBA TV interviewed him. They're saying all this press is going to be on him, giving all these questions, blah, blah, and now he's got to deal with this.
I think he's going to be fine. He'll get used to it because he's a superstar in the making. He's already a Finals MVP, 22 years old.
Superstar?
I think eventually, I want to get to this in a little bit, but I'm talking about in the next 5 or 6 years or so, the top guys, we'll have Kawhi Leonard. Jonas Valanciunas is going to be a huge star. DeMar DeRozan's going to be way up there. LeBron James will still be playing in the league, of course, in my opinion. Chris Bosh will probably still be playing. There's going to be an influx of all this young talent, especially with this year's draft class. Guys like Wiggins, Tyler Ennis, Nick Stauskas, Jabari Parker, Joel Embiid, of course. The league is going to be crazy. It's already fantastic, but it's going to be crazy good in the next few years. Kawhi Leonard being a superstar, yeah, in my opinion, he's going to be a huge star eventually when Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker leave because he is the future of San Antonio Spurs basketball. I am saying that with 100% certainty.
He's got huge shoes to fill, though.
Oh, he does. He definitely does. Now, let's talk about Tim Duncan. I know you're a huge Tim Duncan fan. I love Tim Duncan. Mr. Fundamentals.
There's no doubt he's the best power forward in the NBA history.
You know what? I'm not going to fight you on that one.
There's Karl Malone?
Karl Malone. Tim Duncan's better than Karl Malone.
Yeah. 5 championships. That's all you need to say.
He's a part of all the Spurs championships in that franchise's history.
He won NBA championship MVP in his 2nd season in the NBA.
Insane. And when he learned from one of the best centers of all time, David Robinson, of course, the Admiral.
That's another thing that was awesome about them winning the championship. When David Robinson, Sean Elliott, and Avery Johnson were there to congratulate them.
I love seeing that. It shows that this organization, they're a family. And I've talked about this before on the show. I love when guys stick with one team their entire career. Tim Duncan, always going to be a Spur. Whether or not he retires this year or in a few years, he's always going to be a Spur. And that's beautiful to see.
And what I loved at the end of when they won the championship was Tim Duncan had 2 of his kids on his shoulder, and he was crying. You could see the passion in his eyes. And this is on Father's Day.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now. This is amazing. I love it. That's fantastic. Now, Tim Duncan, do you think he's going to retire? Do you think he's done? Personally, I think he's still got a few years left in him.
after he got interviewed after the championship, and I think he all but declared that he'll be back next season. He said he still feels great.
It's good.
And he'll be back. He's going to be back 100%.
Because it's a lot of fun to watch Tim Duncan.
Duncan is not done. He's got at least 2 or 3 years left.
Oh, for sure. And same with Greg Popovich. I think Popovich and Duncan are going to retire at the same time.
What Greg Popovich said is once Duncan retires, he's retiring as well.
Exactly, because they're like brothers. Or like a father and son combo.
Yeah, it's more of like a father-son.
Father and son.
Yeah.
But for sure, they'll retire at the same time, but I think they still have quite a few years left in them. Like you said, maybe 2 or 3, just a couple left in them. It's going to be great to see what happens with the Spurs next year. Who do you think are the next big 3 San Antonio basketball? Kawhi Leonard, of course. I've got him down there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
topic.
we're going to see Tim Duncan, Popovich, eventually Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker will leave. Because they're the big 3 right now. It's those guys, of course.
Okay, we could put down Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
for
Kawhi
sure.
Leonard, definitely.
But you never know with the Spurs because they're amazing at drafting and signing unknown players.
Well, let's look at the current roster right now. In my opinion, my big 3, just throwing some names out there off the top of my head: Kawhi Leonard, Tiago Splitter, because they need a big man, and Tiago Splitter's just developing.
Yeah,
getting better
they're
and better.
grooming him to be the Duncan replacement.
Exactly. That's my thoughts exactly.
And Patty Mills.
Perhaps Patty Mills. You never know. If he sticks with the Spurs, he could be the replacement for Tony Parker, and Kawhi Leonard could sub out for Manu Ginobili. So it's going to be great to see what happens with San Antonio basketball. I was never a huge fan before, but I will admit I kind of jumped on the bandwagon of San Antonio Spurs fans, and I like this team now.
Yeah, they were other than the Raptors, they're my second favorite team to watch this season.
They were great.
Their passing is amazing.
5-star. Their play is
5-star.
incredible. Their offense and defense. It's just such a great system that Pop runs in San Antonio. It's incredible.
He's to me the best NBA coach in history.
I don't know if he's the best in history. I don't want to get too into it, but he's definitely way up there, and he
You think
100% is deserving of Coach of the Year for the season.
Who's better, Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson, yeah.
Yeah, you think Phil Jackson? He had the best player of all time, Jordan. He had Shaq.
Well, you know what? Let's look at it this way. If we're talking about grooming players and creating your own system, then yes, Popovich is the best.
Popovich is a guy who got Austin Day, the guy who got traded because he wasn't getting any playing time in Toronto. This Austin Day guy, he gets 23 points in one of his games this season.
If we're talking, like I said, if we're talking grooming players and creating your own system, Popovich is the best. If we're talking wins and whatnot, I guess you could put Popovich there, but Phil Jackson does give him a good run for his money. That's a good battle right there. Those are definitely 2 of the top dogs of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to ask you, what do you think the Miami Heat are going to do? Because this is a shaky situation. There's a lot of rumors going around. They're trying to attract Carmelo Anthony, possibly Kyle Lowry. What do you think about all this?
What do they do? It's interesting.
Well, let's talk about the Kyle Lowry rumors. I want the Raptors to re-sign Kyle Lowry pronto. Hopefully they get that done as soon as possible. But what if Kyle Lowry goes to Miami? What do you think's going to happen?
I think this whole Kyle Lowry rumor is just to get his leverage up on getting a better contract.
It could be. That's a great way to look at it.
Because the only way that he can sign Lowry is if Dwayne Wade opts out of his contract, if LeBron opts out of his contract, and I'd have to say Chris Bosh would have to leave the team.
So it could
He'd
definitely
have to sign elsewhere.
So at the end of the day, the Miami Heat, in your opinion, getting Kyle Lowry would not work out well for them.
Is this a good career move for Kyle Lowry? Yes, he'll play with LeBron James, but he won't be the man that controls the team. Because that's all LeBron. He's the one who has the ball.
Oh, exactly. I agree with you on that. Kyle Lowry should stay with a team like Toronto because he is the man in Toronto.
He is the man.
He is the leader off the court and on the court. You see him backstage handing out the Gatorade like Jose Calderon used to do. The Toronto Raptors are Kyle Lowry's team.
Yeah, he's got the keys to the franchise. Do you really want to give that up?
No, you don't.
And then, I don't know, there's also possibilities about him going to the Lakers.
Ugh, I don't want to see Kyle Lowry in a Lakers uniform.
It is a big possibility.
I still have a slight hate on for the Lakers.
I don't mind the Lakers, but him going to the Lakers would just devastate me.
I think the best thing for Kyle Lowry to do, Kyle, if you're listening, is to stay in Toronto because Toronto loves you.
It is your team.
It is your team. That's 100% true. Toronto Raptors are his team.
You were truly an all-star this season, and you proved it.
Oh, yeah. Well, next year, depending on what he does, what team he ends up with, say he sticks with Toronto 100%, he has to make the all-star team.
100%.
No doubt in my mind that he's going to be an all-star.
Yeah, and there's talk about J.R. Smith saying he'll never talk to Melo if he leaves New York.
Yeah, well, we all remember the whole feud with Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. When Ray Allen left the Celtics, when the Heat played the Celtics the first time the following season, Kevin Garnett, he refused to acknowledge Ray Allen.
But I was thinking about this. Wouldn't Melo be happy about this? Because of the way J.R. Smith is in public.
And it kind of troublesome.
Yeah, like if I was Melo, I'd be like, thank God.
This guy's not he's not gonna bother me ever again. I don't know what what their relationship is. You'd think that they would be close because they're teammates and you're a team, but it's definitely something interesting. J.R. Smith, not short of controversy, that's for sure.
Yeah, personally, I don't see Melo staying in New York. I just feel like there's no point. They're not contending for a championship anytime soon. So
for Carmelo Anthony's own sake, he should leave the Knicks.
Makes sense. They hired Phil Jackson, but
they have Derek Fisher as head coach. I don't think Fisher's gonna do anything big with the Knicks.
Fisher is basically Phil Jackson's puppet.
I agree with you there. Yeah, I don't think Fisher's gonna bring anything spectacular to the New York Knicks organization as their head coach.
That's the new trend these days. Signing coaches after their retirement.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd last year.
Well, Kidd did a pretty good job. At first, I wasn't too impressed with his coaching abilities, but he really changed, even though I'm not a huge Brooklyn Nets fan, of course, for obvious reasons. But he really changed my opinion as far as his coaching is concerned by the end of the season. He did a great job with the Nets.
The Nets just had too much talent not to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a shame. And then they went on to beat the Toronto Raptors, but we won't get into that.
But the Knicks, what is it? Raymond Felton, starter. Amari Stoudemire, who's always injured.
Yeah, punching extinguishers.
J.R. Smith just always causing trouble.
Well, we've talked about the Knicks many times in the past. They're just a bunch of great puzzle pieces that don't fit together. But we'll just have to wait and see what Derek Fisher brings to the table. Maybe they'll surprise us. I doubt it, and I agree with you. I won't be surprised if Carmelo Anthony leaves the New York Knicks and goes elsewhere.
Who do you think he ends up with?
A lot of people are saying Bulls, Heat or Bulls. I'd like to see him in Chicago. That'd be interesting because Derrick Rose apparently is set to return next year, so you'd have Rose and Carmelo Anthony working together. That'd be an interesting dynamic.
There's also Houston who announced that they're not going to re-sign Chandler Parsons.
Oh, so that
just to make room for a star.
Yeah, well, that leaves a spot open for sure, 100% for Carmelo Anthony.
But I don't know how that would work with him and Harden doing making all those taking all those shots because
they're both scorers.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They're both scorers. They're not really distributors. They're both scorers. So it's going to be very interesting as free agency picks up to see where all these guys end up and see what happens and what the NBA actually looks like next season. I just want to make a quick mention of Chris Bosh's hilarious pregame comments in Game 5. I don't know if he said something. It's almost like he didn't know what the word guaranteed meant. So here, let's see if we can actually get a clip going.
So we're going to win this game tonight. We're going to come. We're prepared like we need to do. And, plain and simple, we're going to win this game.
Is that 100% guarantee?
I don't care about guarantees. We're just going to win the game. Take it how you want it.
Nard Dog, I want to get into some wrestling talk. Let's ring the bell. So let's set the whole scene. You got into a little altercation with the Bullet Club on Twitter. Now, before you explain this whole situation, the Bullet Club, they're a wrestling faction, a wrestling group in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Some of the members include AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, Matt and Nick Jackson. This is kind of funny because I personally think they pay tribute to the NWO, one of the most famous wrestling factions of all time, but you think they're copying and ripping them off. So just run us through this whole Twitter banter that you had back and forth with some of these guys.
Okay, my main problem is I don't like how they do the NWO sign. You know, the wolf.
Yeah, the wolf pack. Mm-hmm.
I've never liked it. I see all these clips of them doing that. I've never liked it. And my buddies Colin Van Owen and James Garcia, they always rag on me about it, saying, "Oh, Bullet Club this, Bullet Club this, they're the best." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, James and Colin certainly love the Bullet Club.
Anyways, my friend Colin Van Owen, he told me an idea. I should tweet them. So he gave me the Young Bucks. It's Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson.
Yeah, I didn't know Colin was the one who told you to tweet them. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he gave me the idea of doing that. because he said they're Canadian, and they always respond or whatever. So that's what I do. I go on Twitter and I type whatever, and I say how they're an embarrassment and you shouldn't copy the NWO.
Do you mind if I actually read out the tweet that you sent out to them?
Yeah, do it up.
All right, so you wrote to Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. You said, "Please stop copying the NWO. I just find it embarrassing that you guys act like you're them. Figure it out. ...
Actually, no. Before I sent them that tweet, I tweeted out to the original NWO, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan. I said, how could you guys be okay with the Bullet Club copying the NWO? It's embarrassing them to do that.
Okay, so you, of course, made the contact with the originals. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Hall, Nash, and Hogan, of course.
So then, would you mind reading what the Young Bucks said?
Yes, of course. So the Young Bucks' response to your tweet at them, calling them an embarrassment and stop copying the NWO. This is actually funny. I'm looking at the time details. You sent this tweet out at 3:05, and Nick Jackson got back to you at 3:10. So Colin was right. They're spot on with their timing. This is what Nick Jackson had to say to your tweet. He said, "Okay, since you are well known for being successful with your opinion, thanks so much for the great advice." When I saw that, I had to admit that Nick Jackson, he owns you, Nard Dog. I apologize. I hate to say it, but he got you good on that one.
No, I had a great laugh.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And then Matt Jackson, actually, he sent me a picture. He actually took the time to send me a picture.
Oh, yeah?
Of him doing a hand sign of a bullet.
Oh, for the Bullet Club?
To his head.
Oh, wow.
Which is to me, of course.
Wow, that's intense. I didn't know he actually did that. That's crazy.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
And then we were talking about this earlier. A hero of mine.
One of your all-time favorites.
Yes. Formerly known as Razor Ramon.
WWE Hall of Famer.
Scott Hall.
Hey, yo.
And the original member of the NWO said, and I'll add the first two words to his tweet.
Okay.
As his voice.
Go for it.
At the Nerd Dog. Hey, yo. I see it as more of a respectful tribute done by some of the brightest stars in Japan today.
First off, I want to say that impersonation is spot on, David.
The hey-o.
The hey-o. I like
Hey-o.
it. You just need a toothpick to throw out.
My favorite part about that tweet is he most likely said my name, Nard Dog, out loud. He's like,
that's pretty cool.
He's probably like, the Nard Dog. What does this guy say? You know? Yeah.
Again, you just got that Scott Hall voice spot on. That's fantastic. The fact that he probably said your name is one of the coolest things I've heard all week. That's amazing.
I didn't know the Bullet Club was this popular, but I got so many tweets back to me, like just hating on me.
Oh, the Bullet Club's huge because
so many fans, they're just hating on me, just like retweeting everything and like their favorite everything. It was hilarious.
Oh, they're the biggest wrestling faction in the world right now. They're just on fire. They're huge, very popular group right there in the world of wrestling.
Even though they can't think of they can't think of their own stuff.
Oh, shots fired. Well, we're talking wrestling. I saw an interesting article on WWE.com not too long ago with celebrities that would be a good fit in World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's talk about NBA players. Who do you think would fit well in the WWE universe? First off, LeBron James, in my opinion. He was on that list on the article. LeBron James would be a great fit in the world of wrestling because he's got the charisma, he's got the strength and the agility to fit right in the ring.
He's got the mic skills.
Oh, for sure. I think he could pull it off. Who else do you think?
I think this guy could possibly feud with Big Show. I was thinking this guy, Nikolai Pekovic.
Oh, Nikolai Pekovic. Yes, he could play sort of a Nikolai Volkov type character, come out, sing the anthem. Oh, my goodness. That would be great.
Feud with Rusev.
Oh, or team with Rusev to take on the Big
team
Show.
With Rusev, yeah.
So it would be a super team. Kevin Garnett. I just thought of that now because he's got that crazy look to him. And Kevin Garnett, we all know he's very vocal. He kind of plays basketball a little dirty, so he would be a heel, that's for sure. That's a bad guy for those who don't know.
I think maybe Ron Artest. Meta World Peace. Meta World Peace.
Meta World Peace, of course. Oh, Ron Artest. I still call him Ron Artest. I refuse to refer to him as Meta World
so many
Peace.
times I say Ron Artest.
I'm just used to calling him Ron Artest.
Yeah.
Who else do we got?
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith would be a good fit. Oh, Birdman, Chris Anderson, of course.
Chris Anderson.
Because he's the Birdman. He's already a character. Birdman would be amazing in the world of wrestling, not just WWE, any organization out there.
What about any Raptors?
Let's think of some Raptors. Pat Patterson could potentially make it in the world of wrestling as Pat Man.
Pat.
The Pat Man. Of course, the Pat Man. Kyle Lowry could be a cruiserweight, so a smaller guy goes around the ring. I don't know how...
Lowry would be the kind of guy that starts his own faction.
He starts his own Bullet Club. Watch that.
You know,
imagine that
the
happen.
We the North.
Oh, yeah, the We the North group. Let's just bring in the entire Raptors roster. Amir Johnson. Amir Johnson would fit well into the world of wrestling.
Jonas Valanciunas. I know he's got some mic skills in him.
Oh, for sure. I love Jonas Valanciunas. I love when he gets interviewed. He's hilarious. He's an awesome guy. But that'd be great to see that. I don't want to take too long in the wrestling talk, but I do want to bring up some soccer because, of course, as we sit here in studio, the World Cup is going on. A lot of great action. I've loved watching all the matches as part of the World Cup. We've talked about NBA superstars becoming WWE superstars. What NBA players do you think would fit well in the world of soccer?
Well, it's pretty obvious with Steve Nash.
Of course, because Steve Nash grew up playing soccer. His brother Martin, professional soccer player.
Barboza.
Leandro Barbosa?
Yeah.
You also mentioned...
Grievous Vasquez.
Grievous Vasquez, you mentioned him before. It's Rajon Rondo. I've been thinking about this throughout the week. Yeah, because Rajon Rondo's got the length and the quickness, the agility. I think he'd fare well on the soccer field. Marco Bellinelli.
Yeah, Marco Bellinelli.
It's tough to think of big men that would do well.
Yeah, I was saying Kevin Durant. What do you think of that? He'd be good for those headers.
Oh, yeah. No, he would. Joakim Noah. I think Joakim Noah could do quite well playing soccer.
Superb goalie.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see Joakim Noah play for Team France. That'd be awesome.
A 7-foot center just playing in net.
No one would be able to score on him. It would be impossible.
Can I just mention the Italians?
Yeah, go for it.
The Forza Azzurri.
Yeah. Make your team right here, Nardog. Go for it.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my Forza Azzurri, the Italians. I wish them great luck for this World Cup.
Good stuff. Well wishes to Team Italia in the World Cup. Well, before we wrap things up, Nardog, as always, is there anything else you'd like to say to everybody listening?
If you want to give me a follow on Instagram or Twitter, just follow me at the Nardog88. That's with 2 G's at the end.
2 G's, so we could see your hilarious interactions with pro wrestlers. Little feuds going on.
Oh, yeah.
I think you know what we should do. You brought this up earlier in the week. You should become a pro wrestler. I'll be your manager.
Well, I've already got my NWO promo out there.
You do? Yeah. You guys, give Nardog a follow on Twitter and check it out. You tweeted it recently.
The Nardog World Order.
The Nardog World Order.
Yeah, I tweeted it out a couple days ago.
Nice. So I think you guys should definitely check it out. If you get a chance, go take a look at it at the Nardog88. And if you want to catch past episodes of Full Court Press, as always, you can go to mixcloud.com. Just type in Full Court Press on the search bar. We got a bunch of info right there. Great interviews. A lot going on in the world of basketball. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter or Instagram, I'm at JustinGoulet21 on both those platforms right there. Anything else, Nardog?
Have yourself an awesome week and have a time.
There you go.
Do it up.
Have a time, do it up, live your life, keep on rocking, keep the basketball movement alive and strong as always.
Live it up in the free world.
Live it up in the free world. Words from the Nardog. I love it. And again, congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs for becoming NBA champions. 5-time champions in franchise history. Very proud of that team. It was an awesome series. Can't wait till next NBA season. A lot going on. We got NBA draft coming up, so we'll definitely be talking about that in the coming episodes of Full Court Press. So with that said, for the Nardog, David Bernardi, I'm Justin Raindrops Goulet, and we will catch you all next week.
Cheers.
You've just been hit with Full Court Press. Courtesy of the men, the myths, the legends, Nardog, and Raindrops Goulet.
Nothing's gonna ever keep